Hello, this is Flight TV, the only video program about Russian general aviation. And I'm Ignat Solovey, cameraman and presenter. In this 18th English issue, supported by Russian Federation of Helicopter Sport and International Academy of Helicopter Sport, we'll tell you about the first Russian stage of the second World Cup in helicopter sports. The reform we told about in the previous issue, the one that separated participants into masters and general groups, reached its goal. Intense struggle for the third place in Fender, Polish crew of Marcin and Michal Szamborski grabbed the victory, leaving Russians Sergey Toupikov and Aleksey Pintelin at the fourth position. The second place was taken by Ukrainians Mykola Derehuz and Oleksandr Dovzhenko, and the leaders were Russians Aleksandr Sotnikov and Evgeniya Zamoula. Evgeniya is one of very few female navigators who show high results in sports. In slalom, the attention of participants, judges and spectators was fixed at another lady, Maria Mus from Poland, who performed well at the previous day. In finals, though, Maria and her operator Jakub Malec seriously fell behind Belarusian crew of Vladimir Bougayev and Andrey Rogonov, got 40 penal points in their first flight and were left with silver. The third place was taken by Ukrainians Mykola Derehuz and Oleksandr Dovzhenko, who left Russian crew of Aleksandr Kazakov and Vladimir Gladchenko out of the podium at the fourth place. The Ukrainian crew became the leading one in the general class on aggregate of 2 tasks. In Masters class fending, the third place was taken by Nikita Laptev and Vladislav Kurs from Belarus, second place by Russians Yuri Yablokov and Konstantin Podonitsyn, and another Russian crew of Andrey Orekhov and Vadim Sazonov took the first place. In Masters slalom, Russians Viktor Degtyary and Petr Vasilyev from Samara Air Force Sports Club came third, Belarusians Nikita Laptev and Vladislav Kurs second, and Russians Yuri Yablokov and Konstantin Podonitsyn became the best. For the first time in the World Cup, we did not have Russian crew awarded in one of the tasks, and, for the first time ever, I felt happy not seeing Russians on the podium. The general class is divided so that not only Russian crews could show themselves. Today, the champions were Ukrainians, Belarusians and Poles. That separation into 2 classes made the competition itself easier to participate. There is no limitation on the number of crews per country anymore, and rookies got an excellent chance to become champions. That immediately affected the number of crews. Last year there were a total of 30 crews in 6 stages, and this year there were already 23 crews at the very first stage. How many participants will be in all 4 stages is to be seen, as applications are still accepted. There is a chance that crews from Austria, Britain and Germany will enter next stages after seeing that podium isn't exclusively Russian anymore. Yet, foreigners, both competitors and judges, point that Kazakov can boast with the best organization.
The difference between last year and this year in the stage of World Cup, there's no difference, I can say. It's everything. It's a nice place here. And we saw every competitor and judge saw the well-organized events here. The organizers, they prepared the place very well. Everything for me as chief judge, all equipment was at the right time, at the present place, and I'm very proud to have such a Russian team here in Konokovo. Only bad thing is here on the place, the mosquitoes.
Marcin says that he won only thanks to separation of the cup into two classes. He plans to take part in all stages this year. Moreover, he is an organizer and host of the Polish stage and hopes that he can improve enough to participate in Masters class competitions. I'd say that your luck is 5, 10, 15% maybe, and the rest is how did you fly and taught yourself. We really like to come here. The competition here is higher than in World Championships, and it's an opportunity for us to learn to fly like masters. Here my brother and I had our first competitions after a long break. Last time we flew in Germany in 2017, so we're back in sports after a hiatus. Even now, though, nothing prevents pilots who don't have any World Cup awards from application for Masters competitions. The crew of Aleksandr Sotnikov and Evgeniya Zamoula applied and qualified in two classes at once. Moreover, they got awards in both classes. Evgeniya says that composure and calm are the keys. The huge stress of losing in Russian Championship worked as a benefit for us, because we had nothing to lose. We lost everything we could, rushed into battle cold-blooded, and made it. Clear mind makes 90% of it. Final results of the World Cup, apart from separation into two classes, were affected by new qualification rules. For example, one of the strongest crews, Andrey and Vadim Sazonov, didn't qualify for Slalom despite that they won Russian Championships numerous times and got silver award in the 2017 World Cup. It is about this year's qualification rules change so that each crew flies only once. It's more about chances, and that's what happened. When you take off for the first time during the day, you don't know the situation with the wind and atmosphere. We didn't qualify because we spilled the water right at the entrance and we had a gust from behind. Had we have 3 attempts, we'd take all that into account in the second and third flight, like it happened today. Another complication is that you can take that wind into account only in theory. Pilots can't test the weather in advance and should rely only on their skills, thus omitting any random factors. You are not allowed to train at the competition days. Everyone really closely watch so that I won't perform any moves I use in the task. In short, you can't. One attempt and deal with it. I think they will fix it next year, at least we'll talk about it. I really wouldn't like to leave Yuri Yablokov without rivals in slalom. Anyway, the World Cup was spectacular and unpredictable this year, regardless of drizzle, rain and small wind gusts that, it seemed, were meant to create extra difficulties to prove skills. The weather became better only at the award ceremony. The sun appeared only when all participants and judges assembled at the stage. Evgeniy Maximov, Anton Chikragin, Ignat Solovey, Flight TV. Thanks for watching issue 18th English of Flight TV. I'm Ignat Solovey, cameraman and presenter. This production was supported by International Academy of Helicopter Sports and Russian Federation of Helicopter Sports, but any support isn't enough if you do it full-scale television production. So, your support is really appreciated. You see the Patreon link below. Stay tuned and fly safely.